Hello and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transports. Right, time to put the roof on this signal box at long last. I've been a bit busy these days and tonight I've actually got time to glue this on. So we're very close to the end of the project because we have to put the roof on, fit the chimney on, the stovepipe. Then we have to fit the toilet, which goes here on the side, but that'll be in a second. We'll do it in a second video because things have to set, and it has to be done nice and flat on top of. I might do it because I'm going to fit this thing here onto a piece of balsa wood, and I might fit the toilet on once it's on the balsa wood. That way it gets glued on directly, so that it's on a nice flat surface. To be able to do this, I'll have to actually take the board out and decide exactly where I'm going to position this thing here on the layout. So, because we also have to calculate the length of the balsa wood, we have to calculate the length of the ladder. And there's going to be a railwayman climbing the ladder here on the last step, going up into the box. There's no point in having this nice ladder and not putting somebody on it. So I've got a guy that's in a position that's absolutely perfect, perfect position for the last step, so climbing position. So that's good. So more or less this will be the important thing is to have a base, because otherwise this thing here will break off, and it's already sort of a bit on the flimsy side. So once it's glued on and it's got a base, it'll be much better. So that goes on like that. I've not repainted this. I've left it grey. It was more or less these are the colours. Even in real life. I might give the outside a lick of paint. We'll see. I might do that mainly because there are glue traces here. Let me see. I get my toothpick and I'll show you. There are glue traces here where it's been repaired, glued on, then repaired, then glued on again, etc. So I might paint the outside just to sort of give it a refresher to it. But I'll do that off camera. It's not the most urgent of things to do online. Then we'll get it ready. So let's put these things away and let's get the roof back on. Okay, right. So let's see how the lighting is. Yes, we've got the 40-watt bulb is lighting everything up at its best. So yet again, our pal Glue and Glaze will do the job. We have to glue this on. So this is easy. We just glue here at the top of the gables and set that in position, nice and easy. But we have the problem of the stovepipe. So we're going to have to get this stovepipe here. Of course, if we put the glue on it here and go through it, it'll just get all smudged up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a blob of glue and glaze on top of the stove. And then once the roof's in position, being very careful, just push the stovepipe in and it'll glue in place. And that's that. I won't put an enormous quantity, not to leave a large visible sort of semi, but anyway, it's inside, so we don't need to formalise too much about these things here. So, time to put some glue on this piece of card. In the meantime, we're going to have a nice look at the interior. It's quite nice. In fact, mentioning the interior, I might even... I've taken several photographs of the interior of this thing here. Let's see, I'll make a still afterwards so that I'll put it on Instagram. I should fit a mirror on that wall over there. That way I wouldn't have to use this old rear view mirror to see what I'm doing. I'd have the mirror all the time. I might do that. That might be an idea. Then I sit at the desk and I see myself all the time. Help. Okay. Right. So let's get this thing here done. Time for the glue. Wait a minute, let's check we're not out of view. No, it's okay. Righto. I should unglue things before starting the video. Right, let's put some glue on here. Okay, toothpick as usual, or cocktail stick. I always call them toothpicks, I don't call them cocktail sticks. I'm not much into cocktails. I prefer to have a glass of red wine. In drinks, I am also like beer, but I prefer red wine. In alcohol, I am more a northeastern Italian, more an Italian and a Scots. I like red wine, in particular the red wine of northeastern Italy, which is actually quite strong, Cabernet, Merlot. When I was in the army in the northeastern region of Friuli, we were actually drinking red wine with our pizza. We'd go to the pizza restaurant, the pizzeria, and generally the usual thing would be to have beer with your pizza, but beer was more expensive. And the red wine, you just get a jug of red wine, you maybe get a litre jug split up, and the red wine was cheaper than the beer. So I mean, you wanted to have a drink with your mates, and so red wine it was. So I got the taste for pizza and red wine, and people generally twist their noses at pizza with red wine, but I find it fantastic. Not so much into pizza these days. I like to have a pizza sometimes, but if you ask me, I prefer to have a plate of pasta. Even in this, I'm very Italian. Or pasta, tortellini, lasagna. Pasta's good. I had my wife makes a very good ragu, which is what people call bolognese sauce, but it's a ragu. We call it ragu in Italian. And she makes an excellent ragu. Honestly, it was like eating pasta with ragu from the restaurant. Better than at the restaurant, if you ask me. And I've had a very good meal tonight. So, ragu, some boiled chives, a couple of tomatoes. She'd bought some tomatoes. And what was it? Then I did the dishes. I think I had some marmalade, because I had some marmalade. I like marmalade, and other things I am quite Scottish or British. I like marmalade. My parents brought me marmalade from Glasgow, so I had some bread and marmalade, like Paddington Bear. Paddington Bear is crazy about marmalade. So I think we'll pop some even on the sides here, just to make sure that we have it glues on, but I think the gables are more than enough. I don't even know if this is going to come in contact up there or not, but just a small contact point here. And the secret of making a good ragu, you can put onion in a ragu, or bolognese, but if you put celery, it's even better, because celery has a very strong flavour. So you get a delicate but strong flavour at the same time. It's excellent, absolutely. So try that out. And another very, very, very good Italian, but it's more from Friuli when I was in the army. Very good dish I like. Oh, and I love that. It's called frico. Frico is made of cheese and potatoes. And you sort of fry the potatoes in the cheese. It's a very, very poor dish. It was from the country. And Friuli has a big cheese making tradition. Excellent cheeses in Friuli. Montasio, for example. And oh boy, I like my cheese. And the poor people in the country were getting the clippings, because when they were making the the cheeses, they would have to trim them, you know, and people, you'd buy the clippings, and you'd fry the potatoes in the cheese and get a fantastic dish called frico, which is incredibly good, and you can eat it with some nice boiled vegetables, spinach, chives of the kind, and then wash it down with some red wine. You're not going to be doing, if you go to the restaurant nowadays in Italy, it's not a good idea to wash down anything with red wine, because, so I can't remember, we are allowed a minimum quantity of alcohol, so it's not zero tolerance when driving. So the quantity, now I don't remember, I can't remember it right now, is the same, but the fines have become enormous. So I prefer not to drink if I have to drive the car. So I've always applied this rule. I'm going to put a spot of glue on here, okay? Also because I used to have a bus license, and if you had a bus license, your alcoholic level had to be 0. So nowadays I drink very little. I'll just drink, I like maybe a glass of wine every now and again. I was never really a big drinker, but okay, but nice red wine is good. Okay, so that's the glue in position. I've put some glue on top of the stove. I've actually been generous. So let's pop the roof on. Let's see if that's well positioned. Let's see, that's good. Yes, indeed. I'm checking it. I don't want to. That's very okay. Wow. Excellent. And now, let's see if maybe I can actually show you as I go in with the stovepipe. I hope you can, but we're just going to put the stovepipe in here and mate it up with the top of the stove, which might happen. It might be easier to perform in mid-air. Yep, I'm just going to lift this up and we'll see it floating in mid-air. This way I can actually see what I'm doing as well. So here we are. Yep, you can see the stove with the blob of glue on top of it. And I'm going to go in here and just pop this and fit it to the top of the stove, which is apparently easier said than done. I've tested this umpteen times. Let's see if we're actually going to get it done well in real life. How's that? Pardon me, I'm turning around to myself to see what's going on. I think that's quite good. I'm looking at it from this side. I'm helping myself with an extra light. Yep, it's okay. That's the stovepipe in position. Right. So that's the roof on the signal box. And that means that we're getting very, very close to the end of this project at long last. And I'm rather pleased. I think I was a bit generous with the glue, but anyway, it shrinks afterwards. It'll not form a big blob. I was a bit generous because I thought better make sure that the thing glues in position. Okay, that's us. Right. Not opening this thing up again, so there we go. So that's done. What's next on the list? I'd actually made a list about this thing here. So let's go through the list. The list was paint. Oh, fit lamp. We have to fit the lamp. We have to make the lamp. So fit lamp, make a lamp. And fit Menapoo 1. Make and fit the gutters. That's another job. The downpipes. Fit roof and get that off the list. Fit stairs comes and fit stairs and fit toilets. So I made a wee list just to make sure that we have everything. We have a wee list of what has to be done. Okay. So that's us. We're getting close to the end of this project. I'm very pleased, and getting close to the end of this project means getting much closer to getting the board out, painting, soil, muds, grass, and playing with some trains. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that's that for the moment. Cheerio, and see you next time.